welcome to episode 48 of the Too Hard to Pass podcast. I'm your co-host, Juan Martinez. And to my left or to my right, he's a star of stage, screen, sneakers. He's a celebrity overnight or years in the making. I don't really know. It's Mark Anato. AirMag, everybody. How we doing, man?
Great, man. How are you? Thank you for the intro.
It's well deserved. Well deserved. We were talking before the show and a couple of days before you mentioned that you were going to be a part of this documentary series, basically talking about the launch of the Undefeated Air Jordan 4, the retro, and talking about the history of Undefeated and like how the sneaker came to be and the launch and all that stuff. And you were one of the original people who got a pair of the
Yep.
Undefeated Jordan 4s. And you told me, oh, I filmed a thing there at Undefeated. There's a lot of people that were there, doing their part and all that. I wasn't going to be like, I don't think I'm going to be a big part of like, the video or anything like that. So part one came out. I was like, okay, cool. Mark's not there. I think he might have been like in the teaser trailer or something like, fast clips of all of the people
Oh,
passing by.
no,
All that
not
stuff.
even that.
Oh,
No,
you
not
weren't even
even
there.
that.
Okay.
Nope,
Okay.
wasn't even
I
in
think
that.
because like it was really quick. So I was like, maybe he's there, maybe he's not. But the second episode drops and I'm
Mm,
like, okay, cool. I see like on the description, he's there. And I'm like, okay, cool, cool, cool. So he's gonna have like a speaking role there. Maybe he's gonna have like a bit or something like that. No, he is front and center. He's the first person you see. He talks about his experience
yeah.
and just having the shoe, getting it through the raffle. And I don't want to spoil everything that happens. Go check that out on the Undefeated socials and all that. But
Mm.
yeah, man, you are really you tricked me, man. You hoodwinked me because I thought you were gonna be like, oh, just a small part, but there he is, just like, oh, look, I'm just a big deal here.
No, no, I had no idea. I had no idea. I mean, I knew, and I saw that there was going to be a lot of people involved.
Yeah,
And so even at the taping, I wasn't given that much information. I was like, it wasn't even marketed or told to me that it's a documentary. It's like, oh, we're just trying to get some clips together,
right.
to help, with the release of the shoe. I'm like, okay, cool. And so they asked me random questions and I ran with it. I mean, I knew I was going to be talking about being one of the original 72, but I did not know to what extent that they were going to use, and for how much of it. I didn't think it was going to be that much that we saw that ended up coming out. So you guys saw it the same way I did in real time. So I had no preview of that, so I had no idea.
Yeah, cool. So I'll talk about a little bit more, like talk like maybe talk about like the stuff that maybe didn't make the cut. Like, what was your experience like actually getting the shoe and like just going through like the machinations of it and like the excitement that you had when you actually received it.
Um, so when I got the ticket, I was
Yeah.
excited and I said to myself, okay, well, if there's 72 pairs, that's like six size runs. And I'm like, I don't know who else won. I know there's a few people that won, but I'm like, well, how many people wear a size 10? I'm like, I want to make sure I get my size. So, I'm out in the IE. I drove all the way to Santa Monica to pick up my pair like dumb early. Like I probably pulled up at like 4 o'clock in the morning
Oh,
because it was like I know I was going to get a pair, but I was going there to make sure I get my size.
right.
And I was the only one there. A
Uh-huh.
couple of my friends came out just to hang out. Um, but then as the store opened, I almost want to say they opened early,
Mhm.
not even for like retail. It was just for like pickup time was like 9 a.m. or something like that. You know what I mean? So, I don't recall seeing anybody else come in. I'm sure people probably came in afterwards to pick up their pairs, but I got first dibs, so I was made sure to get my size. So that was part of it. So it was like I was excited to get them, but then
Mhm.
there was the let me drive my ass out there to make sure I get my size.
Right.
Yeah.
Now you mentioned in the video that there was a part of you that was really excited because this was LA. Like, it was
Yeah.
LA was getting the collaboration. This was the first collaboration with Jordan. I mean, collabs weren't even like a thing back then. It wasn't really like a word that you heard a lot. I mean, you heard it like in music, oh, collabs this, like people teaming up to like do a
Uh-huh.
song, but you never really heard about it in sneakers. And for the fact that an LA based retailer got it, like you had a lot of pride in that. And I noticed that too. I was like, oh, he's really happy that someone from LA, not from New York, not from Chicago, because that's what you would
Yep.
expect, right? You would
Exactly.
expect,
Especially with the Jordan brand. Especially Jordan brand.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, LA would not be the first two, maybe the third. Like, in the rankings, you might expect LA would be third, but the fact that Undefeated, like, what do you think kind of got Undefeated over like a Chicago-based retailer at the time or a New York-based retailer at the time? What do you think? What was it about Undefeated and James Bond and Eddie Cruz and all those guys? Like, what do you think got them over the top and got Jordan Brand to think these are the guys who are going to be, well, blessed isn't the word, but like we're given the first opportunity? What do you think of what was it about them, Undefeated?
I think ironically, considering that both from New York and Union's from New York, and for them, so that's pretty ironic.
Sure.
So for them to open up shop in LA, I think where they got the nod is they were completely different from every other boutique shop that was out at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So back then, it was like, I mean, I would make LA runs to like Nike towns. It was like, what does Nike Town have? And then you would go down the Melrose, like the closest thing to a boutique shop at the time was like Sporty LA.
Right.
And even then, that's kind of sport, it's still sports related. And all the retail, the athlete's foot had colorways and Foot Action had exclusive colorways. And so there wasn't really too many free standalone mom and pop shops. You know, they had them in the East Coast, like they have Packer shoes, in Jersey, but we really didn't have too much out here out west. Um, and I think for them, especially and it was brilliant what Eddie was doing was grabbing stuff from LA that were exclusives. Those are the type of collabs, like it would be like a Laker collab, like the Air Force One he talked about. And he would then go ship it to somewhere else, to Amsterdam, and then get European shoes that we didn't have here in LA.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny that he told that story in the first episode because, in a sense, that's what I did. In the IE, I would go out to LA, I would go to Fox Hills Mall, I would go to Undefeated to get stuff that we didn't have in our malls. So then I would have the Michigans, or I would have the Dunks, or like, that we didn't have. So I would go out west to get stuff that we didn't have. He did it on a larger scale, but then that brought attention to the store, and people would come in because it's like, yo, they have stuff that Sporty LA doesn't have. They have stuff that Nike Town doesn't have. And so he created this lane and this lane to separate himself from all the other sneaker shops
Right.
at that time.
Right. So you mentioned that, that's what you did, right? Like that was before well, I mean, there was eBay already and there was Nike Talk and there was the forums and all that stuff, but it's not as easy as it is now where it's just, simply you tap on a button on your phone and you can have any sneaker pretty much from the world shipped to you.
Hmm.
Do you feel like, because a lot of people talk about like sneaker culture changing and all that stuff, but do you miss that? Do you miss that part of the sneaker game where you had to chase, you had to go look, you had to go find those diamonds in the rough, you had to go to this random store in whatever part of the greater Southern California area just to get it? Do you miss that? Because it's been a significant time since that was like 20 years ago, and
Yeah.
things have pretty much evolved since then. Is there a part of you that misses that? Obviously, we get older, you kind of want the convenience of a lot of things. I can't necessarily say I would miss that part, but like, I still love the convenience of like, being able to buy stuff just from my phone if I need it. But I know for a lot of people, and you hear it online, they miss that part of the sneaker game. Do you personally feel that way?
Yes and no. Because it's funny, somebody I reconnected with somebody because of that video. Somebody that I used to know through Nike Talk in San Diego reached out to me, and we were chopping it up, and we were talking about the Undefeateds today. And he's like, "Yeah, man, I'm still waiting for my email. Why can't it be just like the old days where we just go line up?" And I'm like, because I like taking my L in the comfort of my own home now. You know what I mean? I would hate to be out
Right.
in line for who knows how many, and at then it wasn't days. It would only be like 8 hours or something like that,
Sure.
6 hours
Sure.
to get a shoe or not. And then it's just like you just pissed off and you just go get breakfast. You know what I mean? Like, so
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm too old to be camped out freezing my ass off. You know what I mean? So on one hand, I don't miss that. If I'm gonna take the L, I'll take the L. That's fine. But I did spark um camaraderie in those lines. Like just getting
Sure.
to know people. So that part is I don't I enjoyed that part, and but at the same time, in a way, we could still have that. You just have to do a different avenue to do that. You can still meet a stranger, and by the time you guys hang out for a couple hours, you guys are like homies, and then you guys start going to each other's kids' birthday parties and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Um, Now in regards to accessibility, it's interesting because it used to be, hence part of the hunt of it was whenever that season of that shoe was like clothing, when that season was over, it was moved to the side to make room for the new season.
Right.
And you would have to go into the dungeon of some shoe store that stuff wasn't even on the wall anymore if they allowed you to go in the back and look at their back stock to
Mhm.
find that one-off size that's it's pointless to even put it out there because it's from 30 years ago. I mean, those are cool stories to have. Um, but again, there was a lot of networking and politicking to be able to get access to those back rooms that I don't
True.
have time
True.
for these days.
Yeah.
And like, when you have GOAT out there and you can get whatever you want at any point in time, um, I like it because it shows a true market value, what people really think it is versus what, when you would try to do a deal online back in the day, you value it at this price, but the person who has it always has an inflated, thought of what it should be. And
Mhm.
but the market will say this is only moving at this price. It's not going any higher than this price. People are paying this much, and that's that. So it's good to see a realistic market, on Goat, and on these sites now, these secondhand sites, because it's like you can't. It's easier to make a deal with people. You know what I mean? It's easier to make deals, I think, as opposed to weeks on end chatting on AIM. Like, yo, I'll give you this much. Yo, you know what I
Aim.
mean?
Aim. Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah.
gosh.
Talking on instant messenger, like, yo, man, come on. So there's things I like about both. There's things I like about both. So I do miss some things, but some things I'm like, yo, if I took a L, if I can go in line at 7 a.m. and then take my didn't cop on sneakers app 5 minutes later and roll back to sleep, I'm good with that.
Yeah. No. No skin off my back, man. Like no
Yeah.
problem, right? Yeah.
I don't miss the days when I'd be walking out of the mall in the early morning and somebody's posted on the bench like, yo, what size are those? And I have to be like, not yours. You know what I mean? Like I don't miss that. Like I'm not fighting. I'm not fighting over some shoes these days. No, I'm not doing it.
No.
So that's why I'm like, I
Do you
get it,
have
but
the
nah.
do you have like a particular like you mentioned like the hunt back then like just
Hmm.
finding it like on an old store like being able to go into those back rooms and all that stuff. Is there a particular pair that maybe doesn't get a lot of shine in 2025 that you discovered back then that you were like, oh my goodness, like this is like well, maybe not a grill, but like something that is overlooked today, but like back then when you got it, you were like, oh my goodness, like I hit the mother load or something like that. Is there anything in particular that you thought was like a worthwhile chase? How regardless of how difficult it was, but it was like you sought it out, you got it, and you were like, there's a level of satisfaction that was like, man, I really did
Yeah.
something to get this, and it was worth it.
Yes and no. So no in regards to just finding stuff in the back room,
Right.
but in a larger scale,
Mm-hmm.
case in point, the linen Air Force One.
Ah.
That is something that I was chasing forever. I couldn't afford it,
Mm-hmm.
and now it's like under retail on Gold. I can get 5, 10 pairs if I want right now.
Exactly.
I got 'em. I got 2 pairs myself. I have a desk, and it's just like I love that I can get that. I can get Coach JPs that were unattainable back then.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, I'm like, get them. You know what I mean? I can get them. It doesn't cost an arm and a leg. And so there's a lot of shoes like that were unattainable at the time
Mm-hmm.
that are just, I mean, I just saw recently online that the Air Force One Escape colorway is like almost half off. You know what I mean? And that would never have happened in 2003. You
Right.
know what I mean? So just being able to get some of these sneakers, um, that I couldn't get, or I didn't know who the right person was, or I didn't trust anybody to wire the money to somebody in Japan to send them to me. Like, You know what I mean? No. So that's where I would say eh, people aren't really on those. Those are some old head stuff, and it's awesome because feel like there's a plethora of it for people like me who missed out on them, and we can get them now for at retail or less.
Yeah, and that was gonna be my next question. I feel like you don't have a problem with all these classics coming back. You
No,
feel like,
I don't.
no, yeah, you're like you are
People
perfectly
get
fine
mad.
with all these. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean Wu-Tang dunks barely over retail. I'm like, so if you're a Wu-Tang fan, it shouldn't matter if that thing's 30,000 or not. At the end of the day, it's still a dunk, a 64.99 dunk at the time. You know what I mean? Like it has a dope logo on it, and dope color palette. Like, but no, man, it does to me, it doesn't diminish what it is just because the resale price is not X, Y, and Z. You know what I mean?
yes. Well,
So
I mean, yeah,
nah.
yeah. I feel like most people should have that kind of thinking and not necessarily worry about resale or anything like that.
Yeah.
So with the undefeated Jordan 4s, the 2025 version, there are some
Mhm.
subtle changes, some obvious changes. Obviously, there's the Nike Air on the back. How do you feel about that though? Like, yes, it is great that these things come back, but
Mhm.
I think they talked about it in what I don't know if it was on the complex interview that Welty did with
Yeah.
them,
Yep.
but he
I
did
saw that.
mention that they did mention that there was like it was intentional to make these changes to kind of keep it special. Do you agree with that, or would you rather have preferred they brought it back as it was in 2005?
No, I agree with it. I
Mm-hmm.
agree with it because it's hard for people, especially who just got into sneakers in the last 5 or 10 years.
Right.
For people who were there at 2005, Jordan brand, at the time was ran by Gentry, and he was not letting Nike Air on the back. See,
Right.
in 2005, Jordan brand had just broken away from Nike like in 99, 98.
Mm-hmm.
They had just broken off as Jordan brand. So you have to think they're 5, 6 years, 7 years out as a separate entity. And so, of course, they don't want to ride the coattails of Nike. They're trying to separate. So they're not going to put Nike Air on the back. And so that option wasn't even available um, to put on a retro at that time because Jordan Brand wouldn't allow it. Unless it was an OG colorway. Like we got the 99 fours, the black and the cement. Only the ones that were original colorways. The original chrome version had a Jumpman. The navy joints had a Jumpman. The black Oreos had a Jumpman. So unless it was an original colorway, it wasn't going to get the Nike Air. So that's why the Undefeated got the Jumpman. Now, we all clamored for that at that time. And I think because Nike Air is just on every single retro these days and it's come out so many times, I think people have lost perspective of how difficult that was at that time. So for them to redo it and be able to put the Nike Air on the back, I was all for that because that's the way it should have been to begin with.
Interesting. Interesting. So do you feel like this is not gonna because I've actually seen this online, when Jock and I do our videos, we've actually seen like, commentary about like, oh man, it's not true because it has like, the Nike Air on the back. And I made the joke of like, is this the first recorded instance in sneaker history where people actually want the Jumpman instead of the
Yeah,
Nike
it
Air?
is.
Because
Yeah.
in the early like in late 2000s and early 2010s, we were demanding Nike Air come back.
Yes.
And then when it came
Yes.
back, we were happy. And like I said, this might be the first time ever people were like, "Nah, dog, we want the jump, man. we wanted
Yeah. No,
we
which
wanted
is
as is." But
crazy.
yeah, and it's crazy, right? But you're right. Like people forget about like the desire to want to branch out and not be under the shadow of Nike from that time, and that's why they put the Jumpman on there. So, and now to finally put the Nike Air on there is like feels like a full circle moment. But some people
Hmm.
are like, "Nah, man, we want it as is." I'm like, "Do you though? Are you just doing that because you want to be able to pass it off as the original?"
That part, like you just
Like
switch the midsole out or something. No, like
exactly. And I know there's gonna be
you
people who
didn't have,
try that. There's obviously gonna be
which is
people who try that, which is whatever. Do
which is
you
fine
guys?
because no, because see, first of all, the what do you call this? To me, I think the new buck is a little bit different.
Hmm.
So I
Oh,
have them
here we go.
here.
Show and tell. Show and tell. Show and tell. Here we go.
It's not as
Um.
I would say not as for lack of a better term, fuzzy to where you can, like a Timberland boot where you can see different what
It's not like
different
sandpaper, right? It's not like a
no, no,
sandpaper-ish
no, but
kind of.
you know how like you can put your finger across, and it almost like you can see
Yes.
different brushes, like on a baseball field when it's mowed certain different ways. You can see the
Yes.
directions. It's not,
Yes.
from what I remember, it's not as fuzzy to where.
Hmm.
So it's a little bit more like the black cement or black red. Very similar to that in the texture, like the 2016 or 2018 versions, whatever those were. Um, and even if they did put out the Nike Air, one of the biggest things, which I love, by the way,
Uh-huh.
you can't, you would be able to, can't, the reason why you can't pass it off, this tongue sits up a lot higher than the original.
Oh, I see.
It
Hmm.
sits up right. It's a lot more, it has a lot more padding. The
Oh.
original, because again, you have to remember this is 2005. Sorry, Jordan Brand, like the quality wasn't the best on those shoes. The shapes were off. We had complaints for so many years.
Hmm.
And the original Jumpman, the original tongue was very thin and it was very curved. It didn't
Okay.
stand up really straight. This one stands tall. The tongue stands very tall. So even if you tried to pass this off as a Jumpman, the tongue would give it away.
I see.
If the Suede or the Nubuck didn't already do that. So yeah, no, I think it would look silly. I honestly, aside from it being more produced, I actually like this 2025 version better than the
Better.
original 2005. I do.
Hmm.
Because
So
this is the way it should have been. The tooling and everything should have been this way in
interesting
'05.
because there's a lot of people who have these rose tinted glasses of nostalgia for the past where it's like everything was so much better in the 2000s or the whatever. And I'll
Some
be
things
honest,
were.
like, yeah, sure, sure, right. Some things were, and I'll be honest, like back then, I wasn't as tuned into the sneaker world as you were, or like, a
Mhm.
lot of our friends were. But like, I knew from the grapevine that not it was hit or miss in terms of like quality, in terms of like rollouts
Paint.
and all that stuff. And
Yes.
so whenever I hear somebody say, "Oh man, everything was so much better," then I'm like, was it though? Or are you just not
No.
around and you just heard from like certain people about like, certain stories, or you
Uh,
think it's just a cool thing to say?
right.
Do you think it's just a
Yes.
cool thing to say
Yes.
like everything was so much better back then?
That's actually to me a big indicator of how I know if somebody was outside back then when they say certain things like that. I'm like, no, you weren't. No, you weren't. Because think about it. Retros in '05, '06, '07, they had such a bad rap that even not too long after that, Jordan Brand started releasing Jordans as um, remastered. Remember
Oh,
that?
that was in the wasn't that like the mid 2010s? Wasn't that
Yeah.
was that the
Yeah,
yes, yes, yes.
because I
Hmm.
remember I got the military fours, what, 2006, 2007 version when they first came
Hmm.
out. That's like my second favorite colorway. I was so happy when they came out because it was the first time ever um since '89. So I got the military fours. It had a Jumpman on the back because they couldn't put Nike on it. I didn't care. I took 3 steps in them things and the paint started cracking on the midsole.
Oh
And I'm like,
no.
dude, right. So there's a lot of QC issues. There's paint issues, and the shape wasn't like my '99 fours. This is only 7 years out, So I was no. There was a time where Jordan Brand was messing up on stuff, and then because they're still keeping the price point at like 150, 160, 170, and then when they branded it, they started marketing it as remastered. Then the price went over 200 because now I'm like, oh, so now you're going to give us the quality and the shape that we wanted. So clearly you guys were able to do it. You guys just chose not to do it at that time. You know what I mean? So ever since they're remastered and they stopped using that, but all the retros ever since have been high quality at that time. But there was a period of time where Jordan Brand was not putting out dope stuff. At least the
Yeah, now they
quality
use
was.
reimagined. Now they use reimagined. Like, it was remastered in the 2010s. Now it's reimagined.
Yeah.
How do you feel though about like this era of the reimagines? Because I think isn't there like I don't know if it's a mandate, but because they've brought back the OGs so many times, they
Hmm.
can only do it so much where until like the luster of a particular silhouette gets diluted, right? So that's why they're doing this reimagined stuff where they're bringing it
Hmm.
back, but there's like one or two very big changes. Like for example, the black toe ones, it's got the
Hmm.
Air Jordan on the thing instead of the wing. That sounds like a good idea for a lot of like
Hmm.
old heads, right? Like if this had come out 10, 15 years ago, people would have lost their damn minds over it. I bet your resale would
Hmm.
be like in the triple whatever the retail was.
Yep.
but it's sitting now. It's
Yeah.
interesting. It's wild to me that something of that historical importance, like you've seen the pictures of Michael Jordan with that particular pair of black toes without the Wings logo on it. That should
Mhm.
be something that people lose their minds over. And
Yep.
yet it's just in stores. Now, for a particular type of sneakerhead, like maybe me or you, who have like this, in knowledge of the the history and all that stuff, that should be cause for celebration. Like, oh, cool, I can just get it, no problem. Maybe it'll even drop in price and everything. But business wise, it's kind of wild that it's not working maybe as much as they would have hoped to. Like, there's some particular exceptions. The black metallics, I think, came out and they sold out pretty quickly. But you've got the UNC ones that are like kind of a copy of the Lost and Found Chicago's from a couple of years ago.
On
They're
sale. I
sitting
saw it on
on
sale. Yep.
sale.
I saw it on
Exactly.
sale.
So it's
Uh-huh.
like hit
Yeah.
or miss. But yeah, it's just interesting to me that this current gimmick was remastered in 2014, 2015. Now it's reimagined in 2025. It's just not working. It's just not, doesn't, well, it's hit or miss because there are stuff that works, but it's not the hit rate that it was 10 years ago.
And I think it's a combination of two things. Number one, and I say this a lot whenever some of these shoes come out, I
Mm-hmm.
say Jordan Brand was 10 years too late. We were
Mm,
clamoring for this stuff.
the
You know what I mean?
historical.
It's like hip
Mm,
hop heads wait, like looking forward to Dr. Dre's Detox album. We all grew up. We all it never came. But we all grew up already, dog. We don't even drop it. Don't even worry about it. That's literally what it's like. We were clamoring for this stuff 10, 15 years ago
right.
when they could have took advantage and they
Mm-hmm.
didn't. So number one, that they waited too long. Number two, what made retros work to release them every 5 or 6 years was because when they were gone, they were gone. Everybody would get their one shipment. You didn't get these restocks that we see every couple months. And on top of that, um, if you missed out on a retro, let's say you missed out on a 2025 retro, you'd have to probably wait till 2031 to get another shot at that.
Mm-hmm.
And how do we solve that problem? We have GOAT now.
Yeah.
You can, I did not, the white cement fours, which I love, that just came out.
Mm-hmm.
I still have like the 2016 pair.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I didn't need it. And I can buy another 2016 pair right now if I really want. I don't have to go hunt for it. That's the problem now. Because
Mm-hmm.
stuff is so readily available. And if they're not going to move, they're just going to sit. And there's another release next week. Versus back then, you had 5 or 6 different Jordans a year.
Yeah.
It wasn't every weekend we have something dropping. So it's just oversaturated and easy access. So I
Is there
think
a
it's a
solution?
combination of those things.
Right. Like what could they do now though? Like what do you think? Do you think it's just stretching it out more, like between releases? Like you said, the White Cement fours, right? They just had a retro, was it last year, a couple months
No,
ago?
no, it feels that way. Well, no,
Yeah,
yeah, they
exactly.
just
Like
had,
what
it
is
was in
time, right? What is
2025.
time? Exactly.
It
What
was
is time, right?
2025. So
Yeah.
granted, with 2025, it was actually 9 years ago. If I'm accurate, if it was 2016 was the last time they came out, then
Yeah.
now we're talking 9 years and it's still not long enough. You know what I mean? Or at least to create that demand. But at the end of the day, Jordan Brand has shareholders. They got to make their quarterly numbers. You
Sure.
know what I mean? So they have to put something out. So I understand the business aspect of that. But when things are just readily available, people aren't they're not gonna chase it.
So you said 2016. Was this during the 2016 All-Star? Was that like when the White Cement fours came back? Was it around like All-Star time? Was it around
Uh
that? Now,
I
I
don't
wanted
yeah,
to
I don't
transition into
recall.
like something else later, but
Okay.
talking about like old stuff, like when we first, became buddies and all that stuff, like
Mm-hmm.
around that era. The reason why this kind of sparked a memory in me was because it was in 2016, and
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like an event that Nike had at, gosh, I don't know where it was, like one of the, they had a lot of things during like All Star Weekend, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think it was somewhere in LA, and it was like All Star Weekend, and they were like selling the shoes and all that stuff. And I think
Mm-hmm.
the White Cement fours may have been one of the retro, because like during All Star Weekend, Jordan drops like a particular retro. Maybe they introduced the new Air Jordan that time too.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it was the white. I could be wrong.
You
Probably
know
am
what?
wrong
I think
because everything
it,
blends
no,
together.
I think I know what you're talking about. So yeah, so I saw you at a few
But
events, and there was the first when they were introducing the sneakers app, there was a pop up in Santa Monica. Were you there at that?
Oh, this might be it. Right.
Yeah, because
And
I
you know
remember
why
people.
I
Yeah, go ahead.
remember that event?
Why?
Because I was having a conversation with somebody.
Okay.
Somebody I just met there. She's nice. She's great. Just having a nice conversation. Nothing really going on there.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, like, I don't know if it was like an hour or two later, I check my Snapchat and I'm like, did somebody just record me talking?
Yeah, I remember
And I'm
that.
like, what
I
the?
remember that.
And
I
I'm like,
remember
what?
that.
And I'm like,
Yeah, we
oh,
teased
and I
you.
can
We
hear like
teased
a
you.
bunch of people snickering, and I'm like, oh, look at Juan getting his. I was like, oh no, did I just get out of here, man?
Yes, yes, I remember.
I'm
Yes,
like,
that
what
was that
the?
event.
And this is
That
how
was
we
a
know
sneaker
being your
pop up.
boys is like, I did not get mad at you. I was like, this guy, you funny, but please delete that.
Yes, that's what it was. It was a sneaker pop up.
I think I texted you like, hey man, this is really funny. I appreciate it. I think it's funny, but yeah, you might want to take this off the internet.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And I was like,
yeah.
yeah, like
That's
because you
funny.
said that, and I was like, wait a minute, was this that time? And I was like putting in my mind while you were saying it. I was like, do I put two and two together? And I was bringing up that I was like, oh yeah, no, this might have been the exact. That might have been the
Yes.
exact one. I think it was when they were like launching sneakers app. And yes,
Because they
I was
they
just
had
having
those
a,
there.
yeah. I wait, what was it?
They had those fours there. They had a couple.
Yeah.
They're pretty much again. They were promoting the app, so you could buy it. You were able to buy it on the app because we had access to the app. There's a code you had to get
Yeah.
the app,
I think
and
I
then we
have one
had
of
the
those
app.
things here, like a keychain or something. And
Yes,
like that
yes,
was before when you still needed to have that code just to get in.
yes. And then
Yeah.
we were able to buy it, and actually, you when you're walking out, they had it for you, waiting for
All
you when you're
right.
walking
Yes.
out.
I
And
don't think
so
I bought
people,
the white cements that day. I think I got, oh gosh, I don't know. I know I bought something off
I
the
got
sneakers app.
Flyknit. I got Flyknit Air Forces that day.
Oh,
They're
okay.
even
Okay.
seated a
Yeah.
couple things. But yeah, they had like maybe 6 or 7 shoes there. They didn't even have they just had the shoe on display, but you were able to
Yeah.
buy it on the sneakers app. So that's what they were just kind of introducing that app at the time.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
funny. Yeah, I remember that.
That's a great memory, but that's the memory that sticks out to me. I'm like, this guy me just trying to post up and you just like, what the, can't a guy like, can't a brother like,
Suave. He was so
do his thing in
suave.
peace? Like, come on,
As
man.
the He was the
And you
Rizzler,
got
as the
y'all.
kids
I don't.
say.
I forget who it was, but there's like another person there, like giggling too. And I'm like,
Oh, it was
you
Matt. It
mother.
was Matt. It was Shu Hefner. Shout out
Was it
Shu
half? It
Hefner. It
was
was Matt.
probably
It
half.
was
I was
it
like,
was
man.
absolutely Hef.
Oh
He
my
was
god. I was like,
dying. We were
you
dying.
guys are funny. I was like, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, those are. Yeah, those are some times. By the way, shout out to Hugh Hefner. He's doing it big. Every time I check his socials, I'm like, man, that's my role model right there.
Yeah, man. Everybody loves Hef, man. Everybody loves Hef.
But yeah, no, talking about like now that we've gotten that out of the way, like talking about old stuff. Like, do you
Mm.
actually remember when me and you actually first linked up? I don't. I actually don't have a memory of it.
I believe so it's either the Blake Griffin Superfly event, Superfly 2. It could have been there
Okay.
at Nike Santa Monica, or
Uh,
um or it could have been at the Jordan hangar.
oh, okay.
It could have been there. Or no, hold on.
See, you have a better memory of this stuff than I do.
Dame Lillard, first signature shoe in Portland. You introduced me to the Ultra Boost.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I
We
think we
were
may
in
have known
the
each other already by then. Like we were like
right.
cordial, but not like homies
Yes.
by that
We
point.
s-
But
we hung out
yeah,
in
yeah, yeah. But
Portland.
that was like definitely like the time that was like, yeah, man, like me and you Filipino like sneaker media people, we gotta stick
Got
together,
sticking.
man.
Yeah,
Gotta stick
yeah,
together, man. That's how we do,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
There's not a lot of us
Dame
around,
Lillard.
so we gotta stick together.
Nah, Dame Lillard's first shoe. I think that's what it was.
Yeah. But there was definitely like a time, like during that era
Hmm.
when Nike was very active in the LA area with in terms of like their activations and everything when it comes to like basketball. Jordan was definitely very active too. It's a lot different nowadays. Like, obviously I'm not in the loop as I was back then. Jacques is still very much
Same.
in that loop, but it's not,
Hmm.
but it feels like there's a lot of different, it feels different, in terms of like, the community that it was like, back then in those early 2010s where I feel like everybody knew everybody. Feels
Yes.
like you
Yeah.
just walk in. Like,
Hmm.
I wasn't like, I was fairly late to like, I would say I was fairly late to it compared to like you guys. But then like once I got in, I was like, oh shoot. Like, I would walk into every band. I'd be like, I know this person, that person, and all that stuff. I'd
Right.
be like, I know Wells, Half,
Hmm. Yeah.
Jock, Rob Santini, like all those people. And I'm like, man, but it feels a lot different now. When I look at like, when I look at social medias, like people's like, it's a lot bigger. There's just like, obviously there's a more focus on women, which is great. And then,
Yeah.
but like in terms of like the basketball stuff, it just doesn't seem like it's popping. Like, with LeBron, it's not the same as it was with Kobe. With Kobe, there was
Hmm.
a lot of like activations here in LA. With LeBron, I'm like, has there ever been one? I got that feeling of like,
Yeah.
has there ever even been one? Doesn't
Yeah.
feel like there is. So it's like there's just a lot of difference. And is it like I know part of it is like, maybe just me getting older, where I'm just like
Hmm.
reminiscing about those old times. But it just feels like there was a sense of like community. I don't want to say family because it's not family, but it feels like
Right.
there was a sense of like everybody was in it together back then.
Hmm.
That is just doesn't seem like this the way that it is now. And maybe part of it is just the way that social media works and how everybody's kind of like aware of like their brand and like trying to become influencers and all that stuff. Whereas like back then it was a little bit more eh, fun. I guess
Yeah.
is the word.
And it could be that between them, but we're not in those rooms, so I don't know. But
Exactly.
I agree with you on that. I think influencers being a brand, I think a lot of that kind of clouded things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's no secret that you can buy followers if you really want to. You know what I mean? So there's different ways around it. So it's hard to filter authenticity,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what you had prior when you couldn't pay for it. You couldn't buy clout, you couldn't buy status, and a lot of times, not to name any influencers, sometimes they get caught up real and kind of with a foot in their mouth because they weren't outside or you know what I mean? Because they're just really trying to push a product which they know nothing about and they'll say something and it's kind of like you just kind of told on yourself that this is a paid advertisement. You know what I mean? So it's a that's challenging. I don't know how brands can navigate through that because a lot of times it's hard to find who's authentic because you don't become authentic by saying you're authentic. It's people around you who say, no, that person over there, yeah, they're real. That's who they are. That's, they really have that vision for what's the next hot thing, etc. So, you can't fake that. And so with social media, half of it, 99% of it is fake. So it's hard to filter out and, develop those relationships. I mean, even now, it's like the people that they are, the personas, I would like to say, who they are online. It's not the person you meet when you see them, run into them in the street.
Yeah, totally, totally. All right, well, shifting things to a different topic.
Sure.
I know I had to get this in, before we stop the show. Like you talk about like, things being authentic and all that stuff. And one thing that I do believe is very authentic with you is your fandom for a particular squad basketball team here in Los Angeles.
Yes.
Me and Jacques jokingly referred to it on Hard Pass as the JV LA basketball team.
I've
You're
heard it
like
before. That's new.
you better be glad we're friends. You're like it's a good thing we're friends, or else I would have murdered you already. But you are one of the most genuine diehard Clipper fans that I know. Like you did
Mhm.
not jump on the bandwagon when they were, when Chris Paul and Blake Griffin showed up.
Yeah, no.
You've kind of been there. What exactly? And I know we may have talked about this in that old podcast that I used to do, like back in like what 10 years ago or whatever. I think we may
Yeah.
have talked about this, but this
Yes.
is a different audience. So, can you kind of share like what? Because L.A. It's a Laker town. It just that's just the way that it is. But what kind
It
of
was.
what was
It
it that
was.
kind of got you into rooting for the other team?
Um, you know, it's easy to root. It's easy to root for the Empire.
Fair
If you're
enough.
Star Wars, you're gonna go for the
Oh,
rebellion.
I
You
know.
know what I mean?
Oh, I know.
So
I
that's
know
what
what
it is.
that
So
is.
I enjoyed I enjoyed the underdog. I would go to both Laker and Clipper games in the past, and you know, I can there is many times and even today where you can see the Lakers because they were so stacked. They were the glitz, they were the glamour, they were the show would mail it in, and you see them lose against the Atlanta Hawks or some, what I mean, some random because they're the big bad wolf, and I'm like, damn, I just spent a couple $100 to be here to see this. I'm like,
Yes.
that's
Mm-hmm.
crazy. And
Mm-hmm.
so, or and then I would you know, get a buy one get one free when I get put gas and I can get Clipper tickets at the gas station. And then I would
All
go and I
that.
would see these guys. It felt like a playoff game because it was more like people were going there to see if they're gonna go lose. A lot of times people were going to Clipper games to watch the opposing team. And at the end of the day, these guys are still NBA professionals and they worked their ass off to get to the NBA. And I saw a lot more fight with them. With, you know what I mean? Because they didn't walk in like we're gonna win tonight. We're like, oh, we're gonna bust our ass if we lose, which everyone expects. There's no expectation. But when they won, it felt like a playoff game. Like, oh snap, they won. So
Right,
it was
right.
like I enjoyed that. So even if they lost, I saw that they tooth and nail, like grit, they didn't lay down per se, uh, and play down to their competition. And so that's what attracted me to them, you know what I mean? So, and then, when they got Darius Miles and Q Rich and
Hmm.
young team exciting, and like those guys would never get minutes if they were on the Lakers. They were too young.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? These are young kids and they were doing awesome things. They were wearing Jordans and it was like, yo, it's a hip new thing and it was just fun to watch. And so it was the fact that I felt like I got my money's worth more
Hmm.
uh with the Clippers and
Hmm.
effort.
Yeah.
That's what it
I can
was.
see. No, I could absolutely. I absolutely see that. I was there too. Like when I was that early 2000s, those,
Mm-hmm.
Quentin Richardson, Darius Miles, Keon Dooling,
Yep.
Michael, well, maybe not Michael Candy,
Not
but
Uncanny
you get
Man, no.
Jeff McGinnis.
Pinkowski, baby.
Shout out Jeff
Yeah,
McGinnis.
shout out to
But
him.
but yeah, no, those early Clippers teams, and they had their reality show. Like it was like one of the early reality shows on ESPN, and it was like it was popping. It was very much a great time to be a Clipper fan, and I could see that. I wasn't one of
Mm-hmm.
those people who's just like, we joke about it on the show, but we don't really mean it. But it's
Of
one of those
course.
things. It's like brother, it's kayfabe. It's like wrestling terms. It's like we're playing a character and all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's a God. This is okay, people. For people who watch Hard Pass, yes, it's Jacques Slade, but it's kind of a character Jacques Slade. it's not. It's not really how like we play it up. Like a lot. There's a lot of stuff there that we talk about that we
Mm-hmm.
don't really. Like we joke about the Clippers or any other particular team or anything like that. It's all
Mm-hmm.
in good fun, people. Come on. Come on. But anyways, back to the conversation.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I could see it. I could see that energy, and yeah, man. But then there would also be like these moments of like oh my gosh, like when you guys lost Elton Brand and that
Mm-hmm.
era when like things kind of crumbling. But then like it would pick back up when y'all drafted DeAndre and Blake, and then CP3 shows up, and that was around the time when I started getting into the sneaker media thing. And
Mm-hmm.
Chris Paul, man, like he was all over the place here in LA. I think it got to a point where
Yes.
like I would make jokes like when I'm with family and friends, like we're like, yeah, I'm going to this event that Chris is holding, and they're like, Chris, and I'm like, yeah, Chris Paul. Did you just call him by his first name? I'm like, yeah, that's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like it got to that point where I was going to so many Chris Paul events, and I'm pretty sure he wouldn't be able to know who the hell I am if I saw him today.
Right.
But during that time, I was like, yeah, hey, there's Chris.
Yeah. They were all over.
But
Jordan
yeah,
Brand was
no,
pushing them.
yeah, like that era when it was like Chris, Blake, DeAndre, JJ, like that was a fun time too. So
Yep.
there were like I low key root for the Clippers to be successful because yeah, man, it's a lot more fun when there's two great teams here in LA.
Agreed.
Like we just play it up for the show and all that stuff. But and now that they're not at Staples anymore. They have their own the Intuit Dome, which is a nice, beautiful arena. Have you actually
Yep.
been to Intuit?
Yeah, a few times.
Yeah, like it looks nice from like the pictures and the
Yeah,
things I've
we
seen on
don't.
TV. But like, what are
There's
your
no.
what are your thoughts about like Intuit and everything compared to like? I mean, obviously it's out Staples is outdated compared to Intuit, but like, how much of a difference is it? Do you feel like?
Like we don't have popcorn ceilings, bro. Like it's.
Okay, fair.
we don't
That's
we don't pay we don't pay rent to the LA Kings. Like it's our own stadium. Like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. No, that's
No, it's awesome, and even just the way it's constructed,
uh
um, it's a lot more steeper because Staples
interesting.
Center was actually made for a hockey arena. Is again,
Hmm.
like I said, it's made for the Kings, not the Lakers,
Yeah, that was made
and
for the Kings.
so
Yes.
so it's more basketball friendly. So you can even if you're higher up in the higher as you guys would call the 300s, you're closer to the court than you would be, um, you know, as you would at Staples. You're a lot closer to the game, and it's pretty awesome.
Did you sit at the wall? Have you been to the wall? Like,
I've been to the wall. Yeah, first game was
y-
I was on the wall.
oh, you're in the wall, so it definitely has
Hmm.
that like steep feeling. I feel like when I look at that, I'm like, it does translate, but at the same time, I'm like, I just need to see it in person just to really get a feel for it. Like, does it?
Oh yeah,
Like,
that's awesome.
you really don't feel it until you're actually there, huh? Like, you don't really get the
Yeah,
actual.
the TV doesn't do
Doesn't
it
do it
justice. You can
justice.
see it visually how it could be distracting for a free throw shooter,
Hmm.
but yeah, when you're there, yeah, it's pretty rowdy. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, man, that's good to hear. Like, I would like to go to a game at some point. Like, hopefully, because there's times where I'm like, man, it's out in Inglewood. It's just so far, which is weird, right? Because if you look at it distance wise, it's not that much of a big difference between like where I live. It's not that much of a difference between like this and
Hey
like
man,
L.A. Staples. So, but it's like when you look at it, you're like, oh man, it's like a hop step away from LAX, and you're like, when I hear LAX, I'm like, oh geez, I have to go to the one. Man, I have to go through
I
the
got
605 and the one.
I got a fast track, bro. You can roll with me. We'll carpool. I
Oh,
got a
okay.
fast
Oh,
track.
fancy. Oh, well, the
We'll go.
celebrity over here with his
We'll go.
fast track. Woo!
Oh, we
Man, you
gotta
got one
pay
of them
for that.
transponder thingies on there?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. If you got three people, it's free. So I'm like,
Oh my goodness.
yeah, yeah, I'll swipe that over to three people in my car. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, man. That's the one thing I've not been appreciating in terms of like changes here to the LA freeway system. It's like, oh, now we got tolls and like like those fast lanes and all that stuff. I'm like, ah,
Yeah.
this is one of the things I appreciated about like, when I go to different states, I'm like, oh man, we got tolls? Why?
Right.
Why? What is this? What is this nonsense? Or like when I went to Europe, I'm like, tolls? What is this? Like
Yeah.
in LA, we just roam free, but now we got like these, fast lanes and like, fast track. Oh, man, like it's a brave new world that we live in, man. It's just a
That we
brave new
are.
world. It's not particularly great. But moving on to going back to the Clippers, how do we feel about this coming season? Chris is back. It's his I guess it's his last dance season.
Yes,
you
it
know,
is.
this there's a lot of there's a lot of excitement. You've got Bradley Beal. I don't know how pumped you are for that.
Oh, super
Considering,
pumped. Happy for
are
him.
you?
Yeah.
Because he seems like he's the I got paid. I'm a keep it chill now guy. Like I'm just gonna just yeah. No, Bradley Beal's never really inspired a lot of confidence in me. And I've interviewed the guy. He seems like a chill dude, but like on the basketball court, I'm like, I don't know. Seems like he was always a good stats, bad team kind of guy.
Right. And
But
that's not the case now. That's why it's
yeah,
different. That's why I think it's
exactly. So
different.
you got Kawhi coming back. James is
Hmm.
coming back. So how are we feeling about the Clippers for this coming season?
Unction to the chip, baby. We're going to the championship. The unction. We got all that
uh,
wisdom. Yeah.
yeah.
We got a couple young legs, but there's a lot of I mean I saw somewhere online that we're averaging we're the oldest team in the league.
Oh wow.
Um yeah, we're the oldest team on
That
average. I think it's like 33.6 or something years old on
Chris is really
average.
bringing up that average, huh?
Yeah, yeah. So, but my thing is like I'm good with that because I mean Oklahoma winning as young as they are, that's not the norm. You know what I
Sure.
mean? You do need some veterans and you know, I think we still have a good shot because there's a lot of less distractions, I would say, off the court stuff, I would guess, with elder statesmen, veterans, and with the support that the Clippers have for the front office and with that organization, I think they're going to give them everything they need to be able to, you know, get through the entire season. You know, we have great state-of-the-art facility, medical stuff at Intuit Dome. We don't have to go to El Segundo or something like you guys do. So, you know, it's already there where we go to practice. You know what I mean? So we got a lot of medical, you know, advantages at Intuit Dome.
Yeah, yeah, totally. I'm just glad that Chris is back here in LA. It's just there's something
Yeah,
right about Chris Paul being here in LA, which is weird to say. Because like
yeah.
when we were coming up, we were like, "That's New Orleans, Chris Paul. He was there." And then like he
Hmm.
shows up here in LA, and he does what he can to like really build like a legacy here. Like he's really kind of
Yes.
established himself here in LA.
Hmm.
And it's tough because it's tough. It's just tough to like break through because it is a Lakers town. But I feel like he did his part, and the reception, the feelings that people in LA got when it was announced that he was coming back it seems like it was like, oh man, he's back. Feels like
Yeah,
it's a feel good
yeah.
story and everything. So glad that he's back. And yeah, man, low key, like the Lakers don't win. it is what it is. But if the Clippers were to win a championship, and we've talked about this before, Jacques likes to play this up like, oh, the Clipper, like, I don't want the Clippers to win, just blah blah blah. But I'm sure he'd be
It would
happy
be
for you guys.
awesome.
I like how I'm like speaking on his behalf that I actually have no idea. But we
He
would be
would.
happy to see. There's a lot of players on the Clippers that we would be happy to see win a championship
Yeah,
because,
yeah, that too.
especially
That
like
too.
guys like James Harden. James is
Mm-hmm.
LA. He's local.
Yep.
He's local.
Super
So to see
local.
like, to get him a championship would be great. Kawhi, it would be very interesting how history looks back on Kawhi if he were to get another one. That's his third team
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
he's like top dog.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he would be like that's rare air. That's MJ didn't do that. LeBron. It's basically
LeBron
LeBron,
did do
right?
it. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
and
only
exactly. So
LeBron.
that's basically like LeBron. And yeah, I mean, like, Kawhi doesn't have like the lengthy resume just because of like injuries and everything. But
Hmm.
yo, man, top dog on 3 championship teams on three different like franchises. That's wild. That's all.
Let alone if that happens, he brings the first championship to two different franchises.
Yeah, I mean that's nothing.
That would be pretty
He's
dope.
good in
That'd be
Toronto.
pretty
He
crazy.
he was there for
Yeah.
basically the equivalent of like those guys who are one and dones in college basketball.
Facts.
He won a championship. He's good there in Toronto forever. Ain't nobody
Yep.
gonna
Nope.
like anybody like I've maybe seen one person ever like on the internet be like, yeah, yeah, man, he left one year. What a sucker. I'm like, nah, man, I don't know. I think Kawhi Leonard's gonna
Nah,
be good forever in Toronto. I think he's gonna be fine on
absolutely.
T-Dot all forever and ever. So
Yes.
yeah, man. So yeah, man. So, good on the Clippers. Hope I'm not hoping for them to win a championship, but if they do, I'll
You're
be like,
welcome to the parade.
you'll.
You're welcome to the parade.
I've
I will,
never been.
I
Okay,
will escort you. I will escort you. Like
I've
he's
never
with us.
been.
He's with
I
us.
have never been
Special
to a
guest.
championship parade. That's just not my thing to ever go to those kinds of things. But it would be fun to see like lifelong Clipper fans such as yourself and other people who have just been there through every
I
single
mean,
iteration of the dumpster fire of the Donald Sterling era to to
according
to
to the
get to like
internet, there's only 21 of us apparently. So,
know.
so I hear.
Yeah, man.
So you could be 22.
Yeah, man. I'll be 22. No,
Yeah.
no. I'll be 21. I have to maintain my allegiances. I can't. I might get disowned by like several family members and friends. Uh,
You'll be
but I
21
will be
plus
happy.
one. You'll be my plus one.
I will be very happy for you guys. No doubt, no doubt. All right. So it's about that time. It's almost the end of the show, Mark. But we like to do here on Hard Two Pass podcast. We like to do what we call a sneaker Mount Rushmore Plus. We do the pew pews and all that stuff where we talk about like our particular sneaker and pick like our favorites from that particular whatever model it is. But because you are a special guest today, I thought we'd do something a little bit different. We're still gonna do a draft, but we're
Okay.
gonna do it a little bit different because in honor of your no championship Los Angeles Clippers. Because we always talk about our 17-time world champion and one-time NBA Cup champion Los Angeles Lakers, but with the Clippers, there's not really anything there.
Nope. Not
You're
yet.
like, I'm going to kill you after this show.
No, it's all good.
No,
We
it's
know
all
it.
love. But yes, in honor of the Clippers, I thought it would be
Yep.
fun for us to do our Mount Rushmore Plus of the Los Angeles Clippers. Pew, pew, pew,
Okay.
pew, pew, pew,
Pew pew pew
pew.
pew.
Pew, pew, pew. I don't know why we did that. That's just the thing that I did, and just he played along, and I was like,
Hey,
I guess that's our thing now.
there it
Anyways,
is.
so we're gonna go in snake draft order. So since you are the
Okay.
guest, you have the honor of going first. So what we're gonna do is basically pick our starting five. It could be any position that you want. Basically, just
Okay.
center, power forward, small forward, shooting guard, point guard. So you go first, I'll go next, and I'll pick two, and then you two, and then me at the end.
Okay.
So who is your first pick? And it doesn't have to be. There's no criteria in this case. It's just who are you, whether it's your favorite or who you think was the best Clipper or whatever.
Okay.
So yeah, it's just whatever the theme you want to be. Whatever your
Okay.
theme Clipper lineup would be is all good. So
All right. Okay.
so I guess maybe before that, what would your theme be though? What would your theme be?
I would say my favorite Clipper players.
Oh, okay,
My
cool.
favorites.
All right, so
I'll go my
just have to
favorite.
pick. Basically, just keep it within the positions. So who was your
Okay.
first pick for the Clippers Mount Rushmore?
Kawhi Leonard.
Plus Kawhi Leonard. So that would be small forward.
Mm-hmm.
Small forward. All right, cool. Any any
hometown,
reason for
man. That's home
any reason
team.
for
That's
Kawhi?
home team from the
All
IE
right, that's
Moreno
right, that's
Valley.
right.
Yeah.
IE,
So
that's right. Yes, yes,
yeah.
yes. And yeah, for shout out for people who check out Jock on his socials, we did a sneaker closet tour of Air Mag's home, and got a lot of good stuff. But before that, we met at the Kawhi Leonard, was it like Christian
Basketball
Court,
court.
right?
Yeah, his
Yeah,
basketball
man, that's
court.
awesome. It's awesome. Like,
Yep.
it does show that he shows love to the IE and everything. So shout out
That he
to
does.
Kawhi. So never forgot, never forgot. Stay true, stay true.
That's why we give him number one.
Exactly. Now, that's not a bad pick. Yeah. So I'm gonna go with also same thing. My favorite Clippers for a lineup. So for my first pick, I'm going to go with that small forward. We're gonna consider a small Lamar Odom. Are we gonna consider Lamar
That's
Odom small forward? Because he's so
yeah, no, he
versatile. Like
was.
he could be a
Yeah.
four, he could be a three, he could be a center every once in a while. But I think for in the case in my particular picks, I'm going to go with Lamar Odom for small forward, and then at power forward, I'm gonna go with Blake. Got to go with Blake.
Gotta
Just
go with
because he's
Blake.
like, yeah,
Yes.
I got to talk to the guy, man. Like, he's always been a
Yeah.
good dude, funny dude, and everything. So he was there
Hilarious.
during like my sneaker blog era, where it's like,
Mhm.
yeah, man, yeah. So I got to go with Blake for power forward.
I
So you're up
also
next
would
with
have.
two.
I think would I would. Yeah, it'd be Blake for me for power forward as well.
Yeah,
If we're allowed to do the same pick, but yeah, it would be Blake as power forward, for me. But to go with the next one, I would go Chris Paul for point guard.
yeah,
Be
yeah.
Chris at the point.
Chris at the point. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
cool. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. But oh man, just to change it up, switch it up a little. I was gonna go with Chris too, but to switch it up a little bit for point guard, they're gonna go with Baron Davis. They're gonna go
Oh,
with Boom Dizzle,
nice.
Boom Dizzle,
Yeah.
Boom Dizzle. Yeah, man. Like LA guy. I was a big fan of his. Like when he was at UCLA for the 5 minutes that he was there. I don't know. It was like,
Yeah.
yeah, but like, and then when he got to come back to LA, it wasn't the Baron Davis of the Charlotte, even like Golden State days. But
Mm-hmm.
he was there for it was the first year of Blake, right? And he got to like
Mm-hmm.
have a moment. He was like the one who tossed it to him in the car for the slam dunk. So
Yep.
yeah, man, Baron Davis, like it's just a fun time where like we got to have like Baron Davis as a LA guy, regardless of it was the Lakers or the Clippers. He was like here in LA, and that was like very cool to me. Like brought me back to like my I forget, was it middle school or high school days? But yeah, no, Baron Davis for point guard. Um, for center, I think I'm gonna go with the center. And man, I want to pick DeAndre. I do, I really do. But just because I saw him at the Drew League once and I thought it was pretty funny because I hadn't seen him in like what feels like forever, I'm gonna go with Keith Kloss.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Shout out Keith Kloss, man.
It was one of those times where I was like, wait,
I
he was
love
playing
Keith.
for, I think it was like the Games Drew League
Yeah.
team or
Yeah.
something.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, wait, is that Keith Kloss?
Sure
What?
is.
I was like, man,
Yeah.
how's he doing? I was like, I'm glad he's still around and everything. Like, he's,
Oh yeah.
I
He
didn't know
still
he was
pulls
like,
up.
I didn't know he was like local. So I was like, oh man,
Mm-hmm.
shout out to Keith Kloss. So yeah, man, I think I'm going to go with Keith Kloss for my, I would say to my favorite Clippers center of all time, but I guess that's how we're going to play it. But yeah, so far my lineup is Blake, Lamar, Baron
Mm-hmm.
Davis, and Keith Kloss.
Well, I'm gonna go where you went. Yeah, it's for me. It's DJ also. That's my center.
Yeah.
DJ was just so fun to watch. And it was. I mean, he was him. The chemistry that him and Blake had on and off the court was hilarious, and like it was fun to cheer for him at the free throw line. That was like our Shaq. You know what I mean? So this little. I mean, I love DJ, man. It's definitely DJ. Definitely
Yeah,
DJ for
totally.
me.
So, and then you have one more. So that would be your
Well,
yeah,
my
you still
two.
need a shoot. So wait, yeah, so you're going with you had Chris, Blake, DeAndre, and then your small forward was Kawhi. So you still need a
Mm-hmm.
shooting guard.
Okay. So my favorite is he's probably more of a point, but he could probably do shooting guard, whatever. But I would my last guy would be Jamal Crawford.
Oh,
Jamal
shout out Jamal.
Crawford.
Yeah.
He's that
Shout out Jay
guy.
crossover, man. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
can't. Yeah, man, that's a good pick. That's a good pick. And I actually had thought about that because I think of Jamal Crawford, I think point guard, but that's
Yeah.
Can't go wrong with that.
Yeah.
If not, arguably the best six man of all time. And
Yes.
shout out
See,
to him. He had his
I
own
still
signature.
have his shoes back here.
Oh,
I
the
have
brand
his shoes.
blacks.
Yeah, I
Heck
got
yeah, man.
'em.
God, I think
Yeah.
I told the story like recently, but like I was for some reason I don't know how. Like I think I was like one of the few sneaker media people at the time who got to go to like the very first brand black event.
Hmm.
Because when I went there, I didn't know anybody. I was like, who the hell are these people? It's just like very fancy, like socialite. Well, not socialite, but like, kind of more bougie. It's like, you feel like a more bougie event. It was like dark lights, like, just black lights. And like, there was like installations where like people were playing basketball and everything. I was like, I had no idea what the hell was going on here. Like Blake Griffin and Chris Paul even showed up, like, just to show support and all that stuff. So I was like,
Yeah.
it's a pretty neat event. But yeah, no, shout out Jamal Crawford. Good interview. Good guy to talk to.
Yeah.
So I could go with Jamal Crawford, but I want to switch it up too. JJ would be interesting, but he's a Duke guy, so I can't. I can't. I
That would have been
can't.
my true two. It would have been JJ, but I'm
Yeah,
gonna go
yeah,
with
yeah. I
Jamal.
mean, JJ's great. Basically the thing with JJ is I hated his guts when he was a Duke guy, but as soon as he left, I was like, oh, who's a good guy, JJ Redick. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
As long
JJ.
as soon as he takes off that Duke uniform, he's a pretty good dude. But as soon as he puts it back on, I'm like, man, screw that
Hate
guy.
that
But
guy. That's funny.
so for my small four, gosh, dang,
No, you're
I
two.
can't.
You're two
Yeah, I'm a
guard.
two. Yeah, who's it? I guess a shooting guard. Like, would you consider Corey Maggette a shooting guard? Like he's more of
He
a
was more of a
three. Is
forward. Three. Yeah, more of a
he was
three.
more of a three, wasn't he?
You can go with
Yeah,
McGinnis or
yeah, Jeff
Piatowski.
McGinnis.
How about Piatowski?
Oh shoot! Yes,
Eric
yes.
Piatowski.
Pike.
Yeah.
Yes, heck yeah, yeah. All right, all right, all
Yeah.
right, all right, all right, all right, all right. All right. So for my shooting guard, the immortal Eric Pikowski. Shout out Ralph Lawler,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, man. Like, that's
Shout
another
out.
thing I loved about the Clippers. Ralph Lawler, the Love 100, Oh Me, Oh My, and all that
Oh
good
me,
stuff.
oh
So,
my.
yeah, man. So, shout out to that. So, to recap, I guess, point guard Baron Davis, shooting guard Eric Pikowski.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's funny. I can't believe none of us picked any Q Rich or D Miles. I can't believe none of us picked him. But but Lamar Odom, man, that was a bad dude. That was
That.
a bad dude. Like those first couple of years with the Clippers. But
Phew.
yeah, no, Lamar at the three, Blake at the four, and Keith Kloss at center.
Yes.
So and then for you, it was DJ, DeAndre Jordan at center, Blake at four, Kawhi at three,
Jamal
Jamal at
at two,
Chris. Yeah,
and then
Jamal at
Chris
two,
at
Chris
one.
Paul at one. Yeah, man, I'm picking mine. We got a shot against y'all's.
It'd be
I
a
know.
fun Julie game.
Yeah, we get killed. We get killed so bad. Get Piakowski out there against
Yeah.
Jay crossover.
Just sub it,
That would not. And
sub in the caveman.
even though they were like there was like maybe like a 1 or 2 year overlap between those two guys. It feels like those two were like generations apart in terms of
Yeah,
like play, right?
definitely, definitely.
But anyways, yes, that was episode 48 of the Two Hard Two Pass podcast. I want to thank our special guest, Mark Renato,
Thank
aka
you,
AirMag, for blessing us with his presence. I know he has a
thank you.
lot of like really more important things to do, like handling very important things. Being like the headliner of the Undefeated documentary. I'm sure he has a lot of media hits that he still has to go through tomorrow or all that stuff. So very happy for him, very proud of him. Yeah, I'm just glad that I can call you a friend, sir.
Yes. Before everything else, I'm a friend.
Anyways, where can we catch you on the socials, the internets, and all that stuff?
AirMagKnows,
Shameless plug.
AirMagKnows on Twitter, Instagram. That's where you'll find me.
Yes, totally, totally. All right, and I am at Easyville, EasyYVille. If you have any questions, concerns, complaints, I tend to ignore the last one. You can send it to the mailbag. The email address is toohardtopasspodcast@gmail.com. Again, that is toohardtopass@gmail.com. That is the number two. Number two. Eventually, we'll do a mailbag episode, and maybe at some point we can have AirMag back on. We can do like a triple threat match podcast with Jacques, and we get to we get to be like that. Like it's like us as a tag team, and we're like, oh, there's the Clipper guy. So we need to
Well,
you need to bring in a tag team partner so it can be like a fatal four-way or something like that.
let's do it. I'm game.
But yes, all right. Thank you again, and yeah, we will catch you next week. And Jacques should be back from his world tour.
Yes, sir.
He is oh, do you know what he is? I think he's in
He's with
Monaco right
Michael.
now.
He's with Michael.
Monaco,
Yeah, I
right?
saw that photo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's
yeah.
with Michael. Yeah, he was asking him his opinion on.
He has no idea I posted that. He's gonna I'm just he, as soon as he sees that, as soon as he's like out of his like, private yacht and everything, he
Yeah,
is
I
going
mean,
to be like,
hey,
he has no idea I posted it on the internet because it's
just
one
say
of the thumbnails for the podcast, for like a podcast. Like I don't know, it was like
do
two,
it.
3 weeks ago. He has no idea that like I put it out there. Like I don't know if he watched the episode, but like these people who don't know, there was a Jordan Brand. They did their like board of governors greatness event and all that stuff. And yeah, I just snuck Jacques in there in one of the well, a couple of the photos. And some of them look good. Some of them are like, like at first, like at first glance, you're like, it could work. I mean, if you look at it close enough, you're like, you could tell it's fake. It's like a Photoshop, but
Ah, but it's Jocks. Of course he's there.
yeah, yeah. But like,
Of
for some
course
people,
he's
the
there.
people who know Jacques, you're like, yeah, that's not a surprise. That's
Exactly. Yeah. What else? He did
the
his
only thing that
house.
might throw people
Oh.
off is the height. It's like, wait, is Jacques and Michael Jordan the same height? But anyways, yes, yes, yes. Yes. Appreciate you for being here, man.
Yeah.
And yes, we will
Anytime,
catch
brother.
you next week. Peace.